Welcome in, everyone. Happy Football Friday. Just me today. It's a pretty good Thursday. Uh, Football Friday on a Thursday because I'm traveling tomorrow down to Athens, Georgia. So it'll be a good time down there. Officially Uncle Rusty this morning. Grayson getting born at 8:21 a.m. So congrats, Heather and Jeremy. Um, Let's start off with college football. We got a game going on right now. Um, that is Syracuse and Minnesota in the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. Minnesota currently up 28-13, about 6 minutes to go. And we'll get you caught up on that game throughout the show and the next game that is coming on, which we're going to pick. So I won't talk about that one right now, but get you caught up on a couple bowl games we had picked last week, and the games that we missed in between shows here the last 2 days. And we'll talk about the upcoming NFL slate this weekend. Big weekend, week 17. We got the Cowboys playing in Tennessee, in Nashville tonight. And we'll talk about that one. We won't talk about that one because we talked about that on Monday. But yeah, hopefully it's a good game. I know it's not very good matchup, but we'll see how it goes tonight. Starting off on Monday, the Quick Lane Bowl, New Mexico State, the Aggies have a winning season for the first time in quite a while. I don't know the last time they had a winning season. So good job for Jerry Kill and that staff there in Albuquerque. They beat Bowling Green 24-19. Camden Orth, he had to come in for the Falcons. Matt McDonald got injured in the first half. 2 of 4 for McDonald, 50% completion, 30 yards, 1 pick, 1 carry for 11 yards. Orth came in then 14-22, 63.6%, 191 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 carries for 16 yards. New Mexico State, he's listed as a corner. Amonte Watkins, he only had 1 tackle on defense, but 9 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown on offense. So leading ball carrier there. And then, Diego Pavia, I forgot to say, for New Mexico State, their quarterback. He was sensational. Player of the game for them. 17 of 29, 58.6%, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 12 carries for 65 yards. The leading receiver in this one was Bowling Green's tight end Christian Sims, 4 catches for 56 yards. Before we go to defense, I also want to mention Bowling Green's running back Teron Keith, 6 carries, 8 yards. Not very good there, but 3 catches for 69 yards in the passing game. And he also had a 75-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Defensively, I think my defensive player of the game is going to go on the losing end. Bowling Green safety Jordan Anderson, 5 tackles, 4 solos, and 3 tackles for loss. New Mexico State +3, they win outright under 50.5. On Tuesday, we had a quadruple header or triple header? Not quadruple header there. Camellia Bowl, Buffalo beating Georgia Southern 23-21. The Bulls getting a winning season for them. Kyle Van Treese, their former quarterback, losing to his former team there. But Van Treese for Southern, 28 of 45, 62.2%, 352 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 1 reception for 3 yards. Also in the receiving game, which is interesting. Buffalo quarterback Cole Snyder, 21 of 38, 55.3%, 265 yards, 1 touchdown. Buffalo running back Tajay Ahmed, he led the game in rushing, 27 carries, 98 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 receptions for 17 yards. Leading receiver, we had 300-yard receivers in this one, 2 for Buffalo, 1 for Georgia Southern. Buffalo wide receiver Justin Marshall, he was a beast, and he has NFL potential. I think measurables are, I believe he's 6'2", 215, so pretty decent size there for Marshall, and he was balling all day in the Camellia Bowl. 11 receptions, 127 yards, and a touchdown. Georgia Southern tight end Bo Johnson had 5 catches for 118 yards, more catches and yards than he had all season. And then Buffalo wide receiver Keon Williams, 5 catches, 100 yards even, and 1 fumble. Defensively, I'm going to go with Georgia Southern linebacker Marcus Watson Trent, 9 tackles, 5 solos, a half a sack, 1 tackle for loss, 2 pass deflections. Buffalo +6. They went outright under 66.5. The Serve Pro First Responder Bowl, Memphis coming out with a winning season, 38-10 domination over Utah State. Seth Hennigan, I mentioned him on Monday's show. The reason why I picked Memphis, and he was sensational. 20 of 29, 69%, 284 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a fumble. Utah State played 3 quarterbacks. Cooper Lega got the start. He went 7 of 12, 58.3%, 34 yards, 1 pick, 12 carries for 25 yards before he got injured. Bishop Davenport came in then 7 of 9, 77.8%, 100 yards even, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And Levi Williams played a little bit as well. The Wyoming transfer, 1 of 2, 50% for 1 yard, 1 interception, and 2 carries for 15 yards. Memphis running back Javion Ducker, he led the game in rushing, 13 carries, 83 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, and 1 catch for 15 yards. Memphis wide receiver Eddie Lewis had himself a nice game as well. 5 catches, 83 yards, 2 touchdowns for him. Defensively, I got to go with the guy at the bottom, Utah State defensive end Daniel Grzesiak there. 4 tackles, 2 solos, 2 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss, and 1 pass deflection. He is actually in the transfer portal now. But yeah, it was defensively, we had a bunch of all name games here. So we had Joffrey Canton Arku, and then we had AJ Vongvachan, Sylvante Oliver, and then Daniel Grzesiak there. Memphis easily covers -8 under 57. The Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl, East Carolina dominating Coastal Carolina 53-29. Holton Ahlers was spectacular, 26 of 38, 68.4%, 300 yards even, 5 touchdowns, 7 carries, 48 yards, a rushing score. He also caught 1 ball for 14 yards. Coastal played 3 quarterbacks. I was shocked that Grayson McCall played in this game, being in the transfer portal. However, I have heard that there are some academic concerns with Grayson McCall. That is why Auburn rescinded its visit invitation. So we'll have to see what comes of that with Grayson McCall. But while he was playing very well. Got injured, actually. 10 of 12, 83.3%, 67 yards, 4 carries, 12 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Jarrett Guest came in for him, 6 of 11, 54.5%, 136 yards, 1 touchdown, and a fumble. And then Bryce Archie finished up 1 of 2 for 50% completion, 9 yards. He is in the transfer portal as well. ECU's running back Keaton Mitchell was great. 22 carries, 127 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 receptions for 15 yards. ECU's wide receiver CJ Johnson led the game in receiving, 7 receptions, 83 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 of 1 passing for 14 yards to Holton Ahlers. East Carolina wide receiver Isaiah Winstead also having a nice night, 6 catches, 72 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, I'm going to go with East Carolina linebacker Jeremy Lewis, 6 tackles, 5 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. ECU -7 covers easily over 67. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Wisconsin, the Badgers coming out on top with a winning season, 24-17 in Luke Fickell's first coaching brigade there. Jim Leonard, the head coach for this game, but Luke Fickell coaching, helping out on the sideline. Oklahoma State without Spencer Sanders in the transfer portal there. Wisconsin without Graham Mertz, he transferred to Florida. Garrett Rangel, there for the Cowboys getting the start. 14 of 31, 45.2%, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Wisconsin 24-17, by the way. Chase Wolf, I thought actually played pretty well. 16 of 26 for the Badgers, 61.5%, 116 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, and a fumble. Wisconsin running back Braylon Allen was his usual self, over 100 yards, 22 carries, 116 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 receptions. It was all about the Badgers run game, as it always is with Wisconsin, as Ches Malusi had a nice night as well. Oklahoma State wide receiver Stephon Johnson Jr. led the game in receiving, 1 catch for 84 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, I'm going to go with Oklahoma State safety Kendall Daniels. 2 tackles, both of them solos, 1 tackle for loss, 2 pass deflections. Wisconsin, the Badgers covered a -5, under 45. Yesterday, we had the Military Bowl presented by Peraton. Duke crushing UCF 30-13. John Rice Plumlee, 21 of 34 for the Knights. 61.8%, 182 yards, 1 pick, 14 carries, 21 yards, and a fumble. The Blue Devils quarterback, Riley Leonard, was really good. 19 of 28, 67.9%, 173 yards, 10 carries, 63 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Duke running back Jalen Coleman led the game in rushing outside of Leonard, 7 carries for 53 yards, 1 catch for 2 yards. And then UCF's running back Isaiah Bowser, he scored twice to go along with 11 carries, 39 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. UCF wide receiver Kobe Hudson led the game in receiving, 5 catches for 63 yards. And defensively in this one, I'm going to go with Duke linebacker Cam Dillon. 9 tackles, 6 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. Duke covered easily, -3, under 63. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl was a magical game, a crazy comeback from the Jayhawks to the chagrin of Arkansas, denying them at the end. Arkansas getting it done, the Razorbacks 55-53 in triple overtime to send Kansas home with a losing season and bring a winning season to their to Fayetteville. For Kansas, Jalen Daniels was electric, 37 of 55, 67.3%, 544 yards passing, 5 touchdown passes, 2 picks, 14 carries, 21 yards, and a rushing score. 6 total touchdowns for Daniels in this one was a catalyst of their comeback down 38-13. KJ Jefferson for Arkansas, 19 of 29, 65.5%, 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. 14 carries, 130 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns. So 4 total touchdowns for Jefferson. Arkansas running back Rashad Dubinion had a 100-yard day on the ground. The leading rusher outside of Jefferson, 20 carries, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 catches for 19 yards. Arkansas running back AJ Green also 1 yard short of 100, 13 carries, 99 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 catches for 30 yards. Kansas really couldn't run the ball much. Devin Neal, their leading rusher, with 29 yards. Kansas running back Kai Thomas, he scored twice in this one, 10 carries, 11 yards, 1 touchdown rushing, and then 2 catches for 35 yards and a receiving score as well. Kansas wide receiver Luke Grimm had himself a night, 300-yard receivers in this one. Grimm, though, 10 catches, 167 yards, and a touchdown. Arkansas wide receiver Matt Landers, 3 catches, 121 yards, 1 touchdown, and a fumble. And then Kansas wide receiver Lawrence Arnold, 8 catches, 119 yards. Defensively, got to go with Arkansas defensive back Dwight McGlothern. 10 tackles, 6 of them solos, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflection, and a pick. Arkansas covered -1.5, over 70.5, easily 108 points in this game. The San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl Number 15, Oregon in a comeback 28-27 over North Carolina. Drake May played very well, 18 of 35, 51.4%, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns, 12 carries for 45 yards. But Bo Nix was just too much in the end for that UNC defense. 23 of 30, 76.7%, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, including the game-winning touchdown pass. Bucky Irving for the Ducks led the game in rushing, 13 carries, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns, one catch for -1 yard. North Carolina wide receiver Kobe Paysauer, he led the game in receiving, 7 receptions, 98 yards, and a touchdown. The game-winning touchdown going to Oregon wide receiver Chase Cota, 3 catches, 42 yards, and that score. And defensively, I'm going to go with North Carolina linebacker Cedric Gray, 8 tackles, 6 solos, 2 tackles for loss, and 1 pass deflection. UNC covers +13 easily, under 76. And finally, the Tax Act Texas Bowl, Texas Tech rolling Ole Miss 42-25. Jackson Dart for the Rebels, 25 of 41, 61%, 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. The turnovers were killers all night. 4 of them from Dart in this one. 11 carries, 66 yards, 1 touchdown, and a fumble. Tyler Shutt for the Red Raiders here. Pretty nice night. 24 of 39, 61.5% completion, 242 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. But on the ground, he was a killer. 25 carries, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a fumble. Ole Miss running back Quinshon Judkins continued his stellar true freshman year. 23 carries, 91 yards, 2 catches for 16 yards. Ole Miss wide receiver Malik Heath, he led the game in receiving, 8 receptions, 137 yards, and a touchdown. Texas Tech wide receiver Loic Fawanji, he had a 100-yard night as well, 7 receptions, 100 yards even, and also a 44-yard kickoff return for a touchdown on the onside kick. Defensively, I'm going to go with Texas Tech linebacker Isaac Smith, 4 tackles, all of them solos, 1 sack, and 2 tackles for loss. Texas Tech +4.5. They went outright, under 72.5. And your NFL recap: Monday Night Football, Chargers clinching a playoff berth, dominating the Colts 20-3 in Indianapolis. Justin Herbert was less than stellar, specifically fantasy-wise. He got like 5 points. It really crushed my dreams. 24 of 31, 77.4%, 235 yards, 1 pick, 1 fumble. Nick Foles had a lot of struggles. The offensive line couldn't protect him. I believe the Chargers sacked him 7 times, and a bunch of turnovers there for Foles as well. 17 of 29, 58.6%, 143 yards, and 3 picks. Chargers running back Austin Eckler led the game in rushing, 18 carries, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 catches for 12 yards. Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen had quite the night, 11 receptions, 104 yards on 14 targets. A whole host of defensive performances in this one. I am going to mention 2 here, both on the Chargers. Chargers corner Michael Davis, 7 tackles, 5 solos, 3 pass deflections, and a pick. And then Chargers defensive end Morgan Fox, 6 tackles, 5 solos, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 QB hits. Chargers -3.5, covered easily, under 44.5. We have some XFL news. The XFL announcing their supplemental draft scheduled for New Year's Day. The supplemental draft order will be as follows. Number 1 will be the St. Louis Battlehawks. Number 2, the San Antonio Brahmas. 3 will be the Arlington Renegades. 4 is the Seattle Sea Dragons. 5 is the Vegas Vipers. 6 is the Orlando Guardians. 7 is the DC Defenders. And 8 is your Houston Roughnecks. College football news, transfer portal. We're continuing to cover that. Alabama getting a big commitment. They have received a commitment from Maryland tight end CJ Dupre. Really great tight end for Talia Tagovailoa, heading to his brother's alma mater in Alabama, Tua's alma mater there. Big news in the quarterback transfer market. Wake Forest quarterback Sam Hartman is in the transfer portal. Wake Forest's all-time leading passer. Would be a massive get for anyone who gets him. The favorite right now is Notre Dame. Georgia Tech wide receiver Nate McCollum. He has filled a open spot at North Carolina. So big get for Mac Brown and his staff there at UNC after they're going to lose Josh Downs to the NFL draft. Speaking of North Carolina, another player they lost in the transfer portal was corner Storm Duck. And it's a massive get for Penn State. James Franklin replaces Joey Porter Jr. headed to the draft there with Storm Duck, another possible draftee in the 2024 draft there. So I'm very excited to get Storm Duck in Happy Valley. Cal quarterback Jack Plummer, he has reunited with his old head coach in Jeff Brom at Louisville. So he has committed to the Cardinals there, reuniting with Brom, who he spent 3 years under at Purdue. Liberty running back Day Hunter has entered the transfer portal. So pretty nice running back out there if anyone needs his services. And then Memphis tight end Caden Priestcorn there as well. Also a nice target in the passing game. Couple of draft declarations. Alabama kicker Will Reichard has declared for the NFL draft. It's interesting. We usually don't see special teams players declare early. Reichard was thinking about heading back to Tuscaloosa, but he declared for the draft and will leave Alabama. Also declaring for the draft, LSU's wide receiver Kayshon Boutte. Similar situation there. Was thinking about returning and playing in their bowl game, but no longer going to be the case there, as Boutte will begin his draft prep. One last note for NCAA news. Bethune-Cookman has a new head coach. Reason why we're talking about Bethune-Cookman, it is former Miami safety Ed Reed. Shades of Deion Sanders. That is what Bethune-Cookman is hoping they can get there in Ed Reed. So we'll have to wait and see how Bethune-Cookman pans out in the next couple of years and see where Reed takes them. Want to update you on the Pinstripe Bowl here. Syracuse has scored to make it an 8-point game. They did not get the ensuing onside kick, so 2:29 on the clock. Syracuse needs one stop to have any chance at a comeback. No timeouts for the Orange, so 2 timeouts for the Gophers. We'll see if the Orange can get a stop. NFL news wise, I waited till NFL news to do this here. I'm going to say sending prayers to the family and the country of Brazil, the family of Pele, the legendary 3-time World Cup winner. Pele, the probably greatest soccer player in history of the sport, has passed away at the age of 82 today. And after a battle with cancer there. So, sending prayers to the whole country of Brazil, national icon, international icon there. General news here, forgot to mention this on Monday. The Broncos have fired head coach Nathaniel Hackett after a 4-11 start. Senior assistant Jerry Rosberg, he will be the interim head coach there. He announced Russell Wilson will remain the starter the last couple of games there. And it's just not good for Denver right now. It's they got to get someone in there that understands Russell Wilson, understands how to be a head coach there. So looking for experienced guys more than likely in Denver. Sean Payton, question mark. Cardinals defensive end JJ Watt, he announced he is retiring after the season. The laundry list of accolades for Watt here: 3-time defensive player of the year, only the third one of 3 to do that, joining Lawrence Taylor when he did it, and then Aaron Donald got his third recently. 5-time first team All-Pro, 2-time second team All-Pro, a 5-time Pro Bowler. He's a member of the 2010s All-Decade team, and he also won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award for his service to Houston after Hurricane Harvey hit them hard, and he raised I believe it was over like $30 million. Just ridiculous fundraising effort and caring for the city of Houston while he was still a Texan. Statistics wise, regular season 149 games, he started all of them. 580 tackles, 445 of them solos, 191 tackles for loss, 111 and a half career sacks, 20 and a half in 2012. That is tied for the most all time in a single season with TJ Watt and Michael Strahan. 313 QB hits, 27 forced fumbles, 17 fumble recoveries, 1 fumble return for a touchdown, 2 interceptions, both of them returned for touchdowns, 69 pass deflections, and 1 safety. Also chopped on 3 receptions for 4 yards and 3 touchdowns on offense in his time. In the playoffs, Watts played 9 games, started 6 of them, 31 tackles, 21 of them solos, 10 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 10 QB hits, 1 pick six, and 6 pass deflections. Just a tremendous career for JJ Watt and a first ballot Hall of Famer, I think, all the way. Bunch of quarterback situations popping up this week. It was interesting. The Commanders, they benched Taylor Heineke during last week's game, and Carson Wentz will be your starter for Washington this week, trying to lock up a playoff berth with some help if they can get a win. Before we go further, I want to mention Syracuse did get the stops they needed. It was 4th and 2 at the Syracuse 34-yard line. But an unsportsmanlike conduct for Syracuse gives Minnesota a first down. The Golden Gophers win the Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium. The Dolphins, they announced Teddy Bridgewater will be your starter this week for Miami. Tua Tagovailoa in concussion protocol there. And then we get to the Raiders. The Raiders are starting quarterback Jarrett Stidham. Moving forward there, Derek Carr will not be active for the last 2 games. He won't even be in the facility. They have sent him home. He doesn't want to be a distraction, apparently. From what I've heard, Derek Carr has never been a distraction. Sounds like things are unfolding like they did in Denver for Josh McDaniels, and it's just not good. However, the Raiders can move on from Derek Carr in the offseason. It is only going to be a $5.625 million dead cap hit if they trade or release him this offseason, so very tradable contract. Chase Garbers will be Stidham's backup this week. Moving forward, I should say. And the Titans have their own situation tonight. Rookie quarterback Malik Willis will not start. It will be Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs will get his first career NFL start tonight against the Cowboys. picked up off of the Lions practice squad just 8 days ago. Malik Willis will serve as his backup. We have playoff clinching scenarios this week. The Bills can clinch the number 1 seed with a win and a Chiefs loss. The Bengals can get the AFC North with a win and a Ravens loss. Dolphins, they can clinch a playoff berth with a win and a Jets loss. On the NFC side, the Eagles, they can clinch the number 1 seed with a win or losses from the Cowboys, Vikings, and 49ers. They can also clinch the NFC East with a win or a Cowboys loss. The Bucks, they can clinch the NFC South with a win. The Giants can clinch a playoff berth with a win or losses from the Seahawks and Commanders, or losses from the Seahawks, Lions, and Packers, or losses from the Commanders, Lions, and Packers. The Commanders can also clinch a playoff berth with a win and losses from the Seahawks, Lions, and Packers. IR activations, the Chargers, they have opened the practice window for defensive end Joey Bosa, so getting better as they head into the playoffs there. Jets, they activated offensive tackle Cedric Obuhi off of IR, so get some tackle help there for them to try to make the playoffs. The Bucks, they are getting massive help back, possibly in the playoffs. Center Ryan Jensen, they have acted his practice window. And the Giants activating safety Xavier McKinney's practice window as well. Placed on IR, these guys are all done for the year. Raiders linebackers Denzel Perriman with a dislocated shoulder, Chandler Jones with an elbow injury, and corner Rock Yassin as well for Vegas. Cardinals safety Budda Baker, he is done for the year, fractured shoulder on IR. Injuries-wise, just a couple here. The Eagles right tackle Lane Johnson, he is going to put off surgery and play in the playoffs, missing the last 2 games of the regular season. He has a torn adductor there. Going to wait for surgery in the offseason. Cardinals quarterback Colt McCoy, he has clear concussion protocol. He will start. So Trace McSorley back to the bench in Arizona. Ins and outs for tonight's Thursday night game here. The Titans are just a dumpster fire of injuries. Quarterback Ryan Tannehill, running back Derrick Henry, defensive lineman Jeffrey Simmons, offensive tackle Nicholas Petit-Frere, safety Amani Hooker, linebacker Bud Dupree, linebacker Zach Cunningham, all out tonight. For Dallas, running back Tony Pollard is out, so I am starting Ezekiel Elliott in fantasy championship game, and that is hopefully going to pan out for me. Transactions, the Panthers, they have signed free agent corner Josh Norman, J.C. Horn, going down with a broken wrist, done for the year, so Panthers needing some help in the secondary. Bringing an old friend back, Josh Norman, with the Panthers during their Super Bowl run there in Carolina. Workouts, the Eagles, interesting workout for them. They tried out former Cowboys tight end Blake Jarwin, looking at possible tight end depth behind Dallas Goedert there. College pick standings. We only picked 2 games last Friday. So Mark went 0-2. He lost his lone wolf. He picked Bowling Green. And they lost to New Mexico State. And Logan went 2-0 because he picked Mid-Tennessee. And Mid-Tennessee, they beat San Diego State there on Christmas Eve. So good job, Logan. He gains a game on March 6th back now, heading into our final college picks standings, or our second to last college pick standings. We'll see if Logan can make up ground here in this last big one before we pick the national championship next Friday. And I am way back. I am 19 games back. I think I'm eliminated probably 13 back from Logan. That's probably a stretch too. But I went 1-1. I didn't lone wolf either of the games there. First up, coming on in a little bit. Actually, it might be on. Yeah, it's just starting right now on ESPN. The Cheez-It Bowl, Oklahoma, the 6-6 Sooners. Brett Venables in his first season there in Norman, just kicking off right now. I see on my screen there. Against number 13 Florida State, the Seminoles 9.5-point favorites. We are all on Jordan Travis's crew. That's a big reason why. Is Jordan Travis has been electric down the stretch for Florida State, and him coming back next year was a massive return for the Seminoles. I think Florida State has the potential to win the ACC next year and challenge Clemson. This one is being played at Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida, where the XFL's Orlando Guardians will be playing this spring. The total for this game is 65.5. I'm probably going to go with the over. I don't know, though. We'll see. We'll see. It should be close there. And like I said, this game's going on right now on ESPN. Later tonight, we have the Valero Alamo Bowl, number 20 Texas against number 12 Washington. Big game. I am going with the favorite, even though they're lower ranked. Texas, I am lone wolfing the Longhorns. I feel like I've done this before this season. It hasn't worked out. But Sark, I think that they can get it done. I don't think that there's many opt-outs or transfers for this one. Obviously, no Bijan Robinson, I believe, in this game. They will have his running back, Rajon Johnson, though. And the other Robinson, I'm blanking on what his name is. Kyrie Robinson? I'm not sure, though. But I think the Texas defense will be able to limit Michael Penix in that Washington offense. And I think Texas squeaks one out over the Huskies. This game is played at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas, where UTSA plays. Over-under is 66.5. I'm going with the under. Like I said, Texas defense. They shut down TCU. Why can't they shut down Washington? And then this one's at 9 p.m. on ESPN. Tomorrow, we have the Duke's Mayo Bowl, the grossest bowl of all bowl season. I get appalled every time I watch the celebration for this game. Big bowl of Gator, big Gatorade bucket full of mayo dumped on the winning coach. That's just gross. But Maryland against number 23 NC State. I was kind of shocked that Logan went with me and picked the Terrapins in this one. And but I'm going with Talia Tagovailoa. Look, no Devin Leary for NC State. A couple other transfers for the Wolfpack. The only loss for Maryland right now that I know of is CJ Dupre. So I'm going with Talia Tagovailoa in this game. Only a 1-point underdog. I think they can get it done and upset number 23 NC State here. Mark's lone wolf in his North Carolina squad there, even though he's a UNC fan, but I know he loves picking the crockpot hat there of the Wolfpack. Total here is 45.5. I think I'm going to go with the over in that one. That's 12 p.m. on ESPN at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, where the Carolina Panthers play. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, Pittsburgh against number 18 UCLA, the Bruins. DTR's last hurrah here with Chip Kelly. I think they're going to want to go out strong, and I think that's why they can get the win here. Pitt, no Keaton Slovis in this one. I think Israel Bonaconda should play. Not going to be enough, though, against the high-powered UCLA offense. Should be interesting against Pat Narduzzi's defense, but I think Kalijah Cansey should play in this one as well for Pitt, so it should be interesting to watch him face DTR. This one is played at the Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas, where UTEP plays. The total for this game is 53. And I think I'm going to go with the over. I think Pitt scores enough to get that one over the total. And this one's 2 p.m. on CBS tomorrow. I absolutely love this matchup. Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, number 21 Notre Dame against number 19 South Carolina. Mark is lone wolfing the Irish here. I don't see it. Michael Mayer, I'm not sure if he's playing in this game, but no Drew Pine. Drew Pine is in the transfer portal for the Irish. So I believe it will be Tyler Buckner at quarterback. Spencer Rattler, Shane Beamer, they have been electric the last 2 games of the season, jumping up to number 19 in the polls and the CFP poll there. I think the Gamecocks can get it done here at the Gator Bowl. It should be more of a home crowd for them than Notre Dame. Played at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, Florida, where the Jacksonville Jaguars play. So, yeah, I just think the Gamecocks are on a roll, and they want to finish this thing out with a 9-win season. Total is 52. I am going with the over 330 on ESPN. The Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl, Ohio, the Bobcats against the Wyoming Cowboys. We're all over the Bobcats. Look, this is a weird matchup, and I don't really like Wyoming this year. They do have my guy Titus Swen, but I think I like the Bobcats better as an overall team. They are I believe they are the conference, the MAC champions, or maybe they lost that one. I can't remember. Yeah, I think they lost the MAC championship, but regardless, they made their conference championship. Wyoming did not. So I think that gives Ohio an edge just overall, and they want to finish this thing out and get to 10 wins on the year. Something not very many MAC teams do from year to year. But this one is played at Arizona Stadium in Tucson, Arizona. That is where Arizona plays. This total is 41. I am going to roll with the under. And this one's 4:30 on Barstool. I don't even know how you access Barstool. So good luck with that. But this is the massive game tomorrow night, which I'm hoping I get to Athens before this game kicks off. The Capital One Orange Bowl, number 6 Tennessee, number 7 Clemson, 4.5 points for the Tigers in this one. Logan lone wolfing the Volunteers here. A lot of orange in the crowd. Got oranges in the bowl trophy there as well. And it's just going to be a sea of orange. So I like oranges, but I'm going to go with the Clemson Tiger orange in this one. Cade Klubnik, his first career start for the Tigers. He's going to be the QB of the future. Clemson fans are very excited for him. It'll be Joe Milton on the other side for Tennessee. Interested to see how that offense works. They got blasted by South Carolina, and then I believe they won their last game of the season. But yeah, that was the Vanderbilt game. But yeah, I don't think I think this should be a very entertaining game, but I think Clemson comes out on top. Klubnik, the better quarterback, and the Clemson defense limits the Tennessee offense. This one's played at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida, where the Miami Dolphins play. Total is 53.5. That's an interesting one. That's right on kind of the line of where I like this game at. So 53.5. I'm going to go with the over. I do think Clemson defense limits the Tennessee offense, but I do think there's enough points in this one to get it over that. 8 p.m. tomorrow on ESPN. Just want to update you on the Cheez-It Bowl here. Florida State going up first 3-0 over Oklahoma. On Saturday, we have the All-State Sugar Bowl. Number 5 Alabama against number 9 Kansas State. We're all on the Crimson Tide. Strictly two reasons. One, Bryce Young is playing. Two, Will Anderson is playing. So that's all you need to know about this game. Alabama should have a really great team together, not any opt-outs that I know of because those two are playing. So Kansas State is a great run, a great Big 12 title win. But unfortunately, you're not going to get a bowl win. Alabama is going to get it done here. And Nick Saban's going to get his fourth Sugar Bowl win. This one's played at Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, where the New Orleans Saints play. Total is 56. I'm going to go with the over. Alabama puts up points in this one. 12 p.m. on ESPN. The TransPerfect Music City Bowl, Iowa against Kentucky. The Hawkeyes getting 2 points in this one. Not sure really who's going to play. Iowa and Kentucky both have been subject to the transfer portal. No Will Levis, I wouldn't think, for the Wildcats. So we'll see who plays quarterback for Kentucky. I believe Spencer Petras will play in this one. I'm not sure though. Alex Padilla could play also, not sure there. So quarterback questions abound in this one. Logan is lone wolf in the Wildcats. I was thinking about it. I was thinking because of Chris Rodriguez, but I'm going to go with the Iowa defense. They've been strong all year. The reason why Iowa has 7 wins. So give me the Hawkeye defense to win the game in this one. Total is 31, and I'm going under because of that. Questionable quarterback play on both sides and Iowa's defense. Under 31. This one's 12 p.m. on ABC at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee, where the Tennessee Titans play. And here we go. College football playoff semifinal at the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Number 3 TCU against number 2 Michigan. The Wolverines 7.5-point favorites. It is a sea of maize here on the screen. I'm going to be rooting for TCU. I really am. I hate Michigan as a Penn State fan as well, but I do think they have the better team. They have the better defense. And that's really going to be where TCU struggles, is stopping Michigan's offense. So give me the Wolverines. Give us all the Wolverines. Hopefully they lose, though. Sorry, Jeremy. This one's played at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, where the Arizona Cardinals play. Go damn Dogs. College football playoff semifinal at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Number 4 Ohio State, number 1 Georgia. 6.5-point favorites are the Dogs in this one, trying to get back to the college football playoff national championship. This is going to be a great game. I think these two teams are pretty evenly matched. It's offense versus defense, offense versus defense. I think the offense for the Buckeyes possibly better. The defense for the Dogs is possibly better. Ohio State's defense, Georgia's offense, they're both pretty good as well, though. So it'll come down to possibly turnovers, special teams, maybe. But I think it'll be a very good game. Go Dogs. We're going to get it done. Get back to the national championship. This one's played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, where the Atlanta Falcons play. 8 p.m. on ESPN. Oh, I forgot to say, the other semifinal, the over-under is 58.5. I am rolling with the under in that one. 4 p.m. ESPN for that one. 8 p.m. ESPN for this one. Total is 62. Give me the under as well. And then the final day of bowl season before the national championship on January 2nd, ReliaQuest Bowl, number 22, Mississippi State against Illinois. This one is interesting. No Tommy DeVito for the Illini. No Chase Brown as well. I'm not sure if he's going to play after declaring for the draft. Mississippi State going to be playing for Coach Leach still. I think that is a big reason why they get this win. Also, I think Will Rogers is going to play. It should be his last game. I don't think he has any more eligibility. So should be Will Rogers' last game for the Bulldogs there. So give us the Mississippi State Bulldogs there. Bring a Relia Quest Bowl trophy back to Starkville in Coach Leach's honor. This one's played at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play. Total is 46. So 46, I think I'm going to go with the under. I just don't see the Illinois offense, and the Illinois defense is still very good. So even without Brian Walters. So I think that is why this one goes under 46. 12 p.m. on ESPN2. Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, number 16 Tulane, the American Athletic Conference champions, against number 10 USC, the runners-up in the Pac-12, getting the at-large bid against the group of five, highest-ranked group of five team here. This one's played at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, where the Dallas Cowboys play. I think Caleb Williams is the story here. I absolutely love Tulane. You know, I've been on them all year, was riding them to the AAC championship game. And I just think USC is too good. I think Jordan Addison might play in this game. I'm not sure, though. Even if he doesn't, they still have Mario Williams, Taj Washington at wide receiver. The running backs are still good with Austin Jones. And I think Caleb Williams should be healthy for this game, so Lincoln Riley can get a big New Year's Six bowl win in his first season. Total is 62 in this game. And as much as I want to go with the over, I think under. The Tulane defense is very stifling, and I think that is why this thing goes under. Their USC should put up enough points, but the Tulane defense will hold them to as little as they can in this one. 1 p.m. on ESPN. And look, I think Oklahoma just scored, so the Sooners giving FSU all they can handle, 7-3, pending this extra point here. Which, you know, never 13 plays, 75 yards, 425 off the clock in that drive for the Sooners. So 7-3, yes, extra point is good. 7-3, Oklahoma Sooners over the number 13 Florida State Seminoles in the Cheez-It Bowl. The other Cheez-It sponsor game, Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, number 17 LSU against Purdue. The Tigers are a whopping 14.5-point favorites. That is just ridiculous. It's probably why all of us picked them, but also, I mean, Purdue's in a state of turnover, no Jeff Brom anymore. You know, they've lost some transfer guys. I'm not sure if I would have to think Aiden O'Connell will play in this game, but I'm not sure. LSU, on the other hand, they have Jalen Daniels coming back. No Kayshon Boutte, but they do still have Mason Taylor, the great freshman tight end, Jason Taylor's son there, as well as other options. And the defense, I think, still should be good with BJ Ojulari and co. So, yeah, give us the LSU Tigers in this one. Hopefully it's not too bad of a beatdown for Purdue. This one's played at Camping World Stadium. Like I said before, the XFL's Orlando Guardians, they will be playing there in the spring in Orlando, Florida. The total is 56. Give me the over. LSU is going to score points, and Purdue is going to put up enough to get that over there. This one's at 1 p.m. on ABC. And finally, the Rose Bowl game presented by Prudential. Number 11, Penn State against number 8, Utah. Of course, I'm rolling with my Nittany Lions. Why would I not? Lone wolfing them or lone lioning them, whichever you want to go with. I think they have a chance. Look, Sean Clifford's going to want to go out with his best performance of his career, and he's going to have to do it against a menacing Utes defense there. Utah deserves all the credit this year. Kyle Whittingham is a fantastic coach. And they are looking to get 11 wins, possible top 5 finish there. If they can jump from 8 to 5, maybe we'll see what happens. But yeah, definitely going to get a top 10 finish, I think, even with a loss. I think this is going to be a very good game. I think it might reminisce the game that Penn State played against USC when they won the Big Ten championship game in 2016, where they played against Sam Darnold in that Rose Bowl. There was very entertaining and exciting. Unfortunately, Penn State lost that one. Hopefully that is not the case this year. This one is played at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California, where UCLA plays. 52.5 is the total. I'm rolling with the over, despite the two defenses being very good. 5 p.m. on ESPN. NFL pick standings. I'm rolling along back-to-back 10-4 weeks here. I'm trying to make up some ground. I'm still 7 back on Mark. But Logan, I'm inching closer to you, bud. I'm 4 games back on you for second place. You are now 3 games back after losing the lead last week. You are now 3 back with another so-so week this week. But Logan went 0-1 in his Lone Wolves, picked the Raiders. They lost to the Steelers on Saturday night there. I went 2-1 in my Lone Wolves. I got the Saints right. They came back from down 10-0 at Cleveland, won that 17-10. The Eagles lost, unfortunately, on Saturday afternoon to the Cowboys, but the Packers got me on Christmas Day. They beat the Miami Dolphins there. Then Mark went 1-1 in his Lone Wolves. He got the Giants wrong. They lost on a 61-yard game-winning field goal from Greg Joseph of the Vikings. And then he did get his Rams right, though. The Rams blowing out the Broncos on Christmas Day there, Christmas afternoon. So good pick there for Mark. This week, New Year's Day, Saints at the Eagles. Eagles trying to get that number 1 seed, and we all think they're going to do it. Gardner Minshew looked really good last week. The defense has some injuries, so it'll be hard this week for the defense, but we'll see. Jalen Hurts has not been ruled out yet, so we're not 100% certain that Hurts won't play. But I do think, as do my colleagues here, that the Eagles can do this without Jalen Hurts. They can beat the Saints. The Saints are not a top-tier team that they have to put all of their best effort in. But I think Sirianni will get them up for this one, win this one at home, get into the playoffs, number 1 seed, NFC East, etc. Total for this game is 43, and I'm rolling with the over. Panthers at the Bucks. I was surprised Logan went with me on Carolina this week. I said I shouldn't pick them because I picked against them, and they usually win when I do that. But I'm going with them this week. I do really think that they can win. This is not just a biased pick. I do think they can win against the Bucks. They have the momentum. They dominated Detroit last week. The Bucks looked so against the Cardinals on Sunday night there, on Christmas night. And I just think the Panthers are really a better overall team right now with better momentum. So give me and Logan the Panthers. Mark's Lone Wolf and the Bucks. They have all the chips on their table right now. Win and you're in, Tampa. But it's not going to happen. I think Logan and I are on the right track, and we're going to get the Panthers here into a win and in next week against New Orleans. Total is 40.5 for this one. I'm going with the under. Cardinals at the Falcons. Colt McCoy back into the starting seat here for Arizona. Should give them an offensive boost. But we're all rolling with the Falcons. I think Desmond Ridder has improved. The rookies on their team have improved. They have him, Drake London, Tyler Algier, on that offense that I think have really looked good and have progressed to the last couple of weeks since Ritter got the starting job. London's got to hold on to the ball, back-to-back games of fumbling. So got to hold on to the ball, young man. But I think overall this Falcons team is in decent hands with Desmond Ritter. He hasn't been anything special, but I think with a whole offseason as a starter, possibly the Falcons give him a chance next year and they roll with him. With the fallback option of having a top pick next year and drafting Caleb Williams. So not a bad fallback option there. But anyways, yeah, I do think the Falcons are a better team overall than the Cardinals right now. And that is why Atlanta gets the win. 42 is the total for this one. I'm going with the under. NFC North matchup, Bears at the Lions. Lions needing a win to keep their momentum towards the playoffs. And their hopes really towards the playoffs. They need some help. But we're all on Detroit. Chicago is not good. Detroit has been very good at home. Golf without the elements inside the dome there at Ford Field. I think they might roll the Bears. Cover that 6 there. Total is 52. I am rolling with the under. I'm not confident in Justin Fields and the Bears offense. Broncos at the Chiefs. Jerry Rosburg's first game as interim head coach for Denver. Not going to go very well against Kansas City. They are still on the Bills' heels for that number 1 seed. Need to keep winning to make the Bills keep winning. And I think that's what's going to happen in this one. I think it should be a closer game. I like the Broncos spread here, plus 12.5, because it's a divisional game, and it was close last time they played a couple weeks ago. So give me the plus 12.5, but the Chiefs money line here. Total is 45. I'm going to go with the over. I think the over hits in this one. Patrick Mahomes, that game hit the over last time as well. AFC East matchup, Dolphins at the Patriots. We're all on New England. We don't believe in Teddy Bridgewater. And the Dolphins, both of these teams have been struggling. This would be a massive win for New England, though, in the playoff hunt for that 7 seed, which is the only wild card available now, with the Chargers locking up the 6th A spot, not the 6th necessarily, but the Ravens and Chargers into the playoffs, along with the Bengals, if the Ravens would win the division there. But yeah, there's only one wild card spot left. So needs to be figured out, and the Patriots could get a massive win at home to try to make their best efforts to get in. Run the ball. It works against the Dolphins. Total is 41.5. I am rolling with the under. Colts at the Giants. Giants can win an in here for a playoff berth, and that is exactly what we think is going to happen. Saquon should have a nice night. Should have a nice day against the Colts defense, who played very well against the Chargers on Monday night. But I think the Giants offense can do enough, and the Colts offense is nothing special right now with Nick Foles. So yeah, give us the G-men here, and they get into the playoffs with a win. Total is 38. I'm rolling with the under. Why would I not? Browns at the Commanders. Mark is lone wolfing Deshaun Watson, trying to get them to 7-9. They're eliminated from the playoffs, but trying to finish out the season as best they can here last 2 weeks. Commanders win and get help, and they can get into a playoff spot this week. And that is what Logan and I think is going to happen. We think they're going to get the job done. Carson Wentz played pretty well last week against San Francisco when he came in. So I think that is a difference for that Commanders offense, who has the momentum at quarterback. And Carson Wentz, for all the detractors out there, he does have a lot of talent, and I think he can get it done against the Browns. And just run the ball with Brian Robinson. The Browns defense has been susceptible to the run game. So I think that is how you can beat Cleveland. Total for this one is 40. I am rolling with the over. Jags at the Texans, not a meaningful game for the Jags. Meaningful game for the Texans, possibly, because if they win, Chicago loses, the Texans would lose the number one pick. So the Texans really do need to lose this game. They need to get the number one pick to have their choice of the quarterback that they want next year. So I think that's not really a tank situation, but I do think the Jags are going to win this game. Doug Peterson is going to put his best effort forward to get this team to a winning record into the playoffs. They win out, they're in. So in the real game, they cannot get caught looking toward next week against Tennessee to win the division. They have to stay focused, win this game, get to 500, win next week, get to a winning record, and get into the playoffs as the AFC South champions. Over-under is 43.5, and I'm going to roll with the over. 49ers at the Raiders. Jarrett Stidham in the catbird seat for Vegas. It's not going to look pretty. That's a tough task to go against this San Francisco defense in your first career start for Stidham. And I think the Niners are going to keep rolling and keep trying to put pressure on the Vikings for that number 2 spot there. They still are in the number 1 seed race. Have to have the Eagles lose out, and the Vikings lose out as well, I believe. So tough situation for that, but can still keep putting pressure on Minnesota to keep winning for that number 2 seed. And I think the Niners continue to win. Get this one, cover the spread. This one is at 405. These next two, this one in the next game here. 41.5 is your total. And I'm going to go with the over because I think the 49ers score a lot and the Raiders score just enough. Also at 405 here, Jets at the Seahawks. I'm surprised I'm lone wolfing the Jets. Mike White back in the quarterback starting spot here after his rib fractures, kept them out the last 2 games. The Jets are reeling right now. So are the Seahawks, though. So 2 teams that are in dire situations to get into the playoffs. I think the Jets get their streak corrected here. Mike White comes in, shreds this Seattle defense, and gets this Jets team to 8-8. And knocks the Seahawks out of the NFC playoffs, essentially, with a loss. So I'm lone wolf, and I believe in Mike White and the New York Jets here in this one. Their defense should give Geno Smith fits in this one, especially if Tyler Lockett is out once again. 42.5 is the total in this one. I'm going with the under. 425 games here. Vikings at the Packers. Logan taking his team this week after he didn't take them on Christmas. I did, though. I believed in them. This one was a very close pick for me. Mark's going with the Vikings. I don't fault him there. The Vikings have been the luckiest team that I have ever seen. 11-0 in 1-score games this year. That's just ridiculous. NFL record, 11 1-score wins in a season. So I'm just rolling with the Packers. The Packers had everything going for them. They went out and they have gotten the help that they needed. So maybe they get some more magical help this time or this week. And I mean, conceivably, we could see the Packers at 8-8 in the 7 seed going into week 18, which would just be crazy from where they were 3 weeks ago at 4-8. Total for this game is 48. I'm rolling with the over. The Battle of LA, Rams at the Chargers. Nothing to play for either team here. The Rams coming off a massive win on Christmas Day against the Broncos. The Chargers coming off a playoff berth clinching win against the Colts on Monday. So shorter week for the Chargers, but still think they have enough to get this done. Should be a close game, I think, of kind of evenly matched teams. The Rams seem kind of like the Colts there in that they're going to play some good defense. And Baker Mayfield, he's not going to throw 3 interceptions, I don't think, anyways, like Nick Foles did. But I do think the Rams will keep it close and keep this Battle of LA within that touchdown range. So I think plus 6.5 for the Rams is maybe a good pick there. Total is 42, and I am rolling with the under. Sunday Night Football. This is a massive matchup for the Steelers, for both teams, really. The Ravens, what do they have to play for? They are still fighting the Bengals for the AFC North crown. They lose, Bengals win. The Bengals win the AFC North, but they need to keep winning to put pressure on Cincinnati to force them to win in week 18 to get in. And the Marcus Lone Wolf and the Ravens. The Steelers, they are still alive. They are pushing, trying to win out to, at the very least, if they cannot make the playoffs, to get Mike Tomlin another winning season. Did not look very good early on in the year, but they are here. They're 2 wins away from keeping Tomlin's streak alive without a losing season in his tenure in Pittsburgh. And I think they get 8-8 here and continue to push for the playoffs. I think they need it. They lost the Ravens close, despite 3 interceptions and 2 missed field goals. They still lost close to the Ravens 2 weeks ago. So I think, with Kenny Pickett playing this whole game, he was on fire last week late against the Raiders. I think they can get the win close like they did on Saturday night there, and get this thing done. 8-8. Go play the Browns next week to get to 9-8 and see how the playoff cards fall. Total is 35. And why not pick the under? It might land right on 19-16 there. Something like that. So 8:20 on NBC Sunday. Best bets 1 and 2 last week. Again, not a very good showing, but I think that we are close. The Titans -3. They lost outright to the Texans. Don't know why I picked that one. The Bengals -3 at the Patriots, got that done, and then the Bucks went to overtime and won that one by 3. So the -7.5 at the Cardinals did not win there. But this week, here we go. Broncos +12.5 at the Chiefs. So again, I think Kansas City wins, but I think 12.5 is a big margin in a divisional game. So I think Broncos can get it done with defense +12.5. They played them close last time. Niners -10 at the Raiders. It's a big spread for the NFL, but I think the Niners can get it done. Jarrett Stidham is going to have a tough time facing that Niners defense. Brock Purdy to George Kittle, keep it rolling there on offense. And I think San Francisco can absolutely roll Vegas in Allegiant Stadium. And then the Jets -1.5 at the Seahawks. That's the small spread there that I like. Jets, if they win, should win by 2+. Lock standings. 1-0 last week, each of us. I forgot to write down our picks from last week, but I think Logan went with the Vikings, or I don't know. I went with the Bucks. I know that. I think Mark went with the 49ers. And Logan, I don't remember his, but it might have been the Bengals. So, yeah. But still, all 1-0, still have great records, 13-3 for Mark. 2 still up on Logan, 3 up on myself still. So there's still time for Logan to tie anyways, but not time for me anymore. 2 games left in the regular season. This week, Logan, you're gonna have a tough time tying Mark this week, bud. Tying Mark because you're going with him. Lions for Mark and Logan this week against the Bears. Can see how they would get that one there. It's a pretty solid pick. I'm going with the Eagles. I think the Eagles get it done over New Orleans. It's in Philly, so Gardner Minshew or Jalen Hurts, regardless, I think the Birds get it done and get the number 1 seed and division. Dog standings last week, 0-2 for Logan and I. It's just been a dreadful last couple of weeks or month. Last week, I think I picked the Eagles. They lost, did not cover. Logan picked the Raiders. They lost and did not cover. And Mark did get 1 point because the Giants covered +4. They lost by 3. So they didn't win outright, but he did get 1 point because they covered. So I am finally now below 500, which is ridiculous. Still 2 games up on Logan. Mark is still toiling at 7 games back. He's eliminated from the race. It's Logan and I with 2 left, 4 points left on the board here. This week, Logan going with Seahawks +1.5 against the Jets. I don't agree, obviously. I'm lone wolf in the Jets. So go Jets, Jets. Go the Fighting Rich Eisens there. So I am rolling with the Panthers +3 at the Bucks. Get it done, Carolina. Sam Darnold, Deontay Foreman, Chuba Hubbard, Raheem Blackshear, that offensive line. Get it done, Panthers. We got it. Go win the division next week, but don't worry about that yet. Finish this week's game, and then we'll worry about week 18. Mark is lone wolf in the Browns, and that's who he is picking as his dog +2 at the Commanders. Again, I don't agree with that one. Logan and I are on Washington, so good luck, sir. Tough spread to cover, but yeah, I think mine is the only one I like there out of the 3. Next week, we'll be back on Friday, actually. Week 18 for the NFL Monday night recap here. Bills at the Bengals. Just a phenomenal Monday night regular season closer here. Bills, Bengals, number 1 seed implications there. We'll also have all the NCAA bowl previews. That'll be the actually, we won't have any NCAA bowl previews because they'll be done, and we'll preview the national championship on Monday. But we'll have all the NFL game previews next Friday for week 18, see what the playoff implications hold for that. We know one is the Titans-Jags game. That one has the AFC South on the line. Also could have the Panthers playing the Saints in a win-and-in scenario for Carolina. The Eagles could possibly still have to play in for the number 1 seed and division. The Giants, Commanders, they are still fighting. We got all those teams down at the bottom of the AFC. The AFC picture there, which is a lot of teams there. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see that week 18 slate. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. FAA_bets is our betting account on Twitter, and FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Thank you all.